Well, look what we got here. What is it? Yeah, it is a keyboard synthesizer. This is actually a Roland. Obviously, I've got the top off already. This is. Have a look. A Roland EG101. Now, I'm not quite sure of the all of the faults with this, but I know at the moment this power connector is dented in. So I brought a replacement power pack for this keyboard. I was told that it was making some funny noises when powered up. So new power pack. Roland use inverted bloody DC for some reason. It's a weird. It's not weird. It's just they use a standard power jack, but they put the plus on the outside of it. God knows why. Just to stop you buying a normal power pack. So eBay special for 15 quid. Got the new power pack there. Plugged it in. Not powering up. But then I noticed the little spring-loaded clip inside the power jack is not connecting. So let's whip that power board out and see if we can get it springy again to get it connected. So here we are, back on the workbench. Got the power board out. Let's see if I can show you what I mean. Let's just switch the camera light on a minute. Now, that's the headphone socket, or maybe, no, it might be a foot switch socket actually. But this is the power connector. I don't know if you can see it, but so you've got the center pin, and then right here on the bottom is a little piece of metal, and that should be a lot more springy. I can see a little gap underneath. So what we need to try and do, I can see it's quite well, it's like burnt out almost. So what we're going to try and do with this little piece of metal that's inside there, we're going to try and poke it out so it sort of grabs the jack that goes in a little better. And then clean it up probably. Looks like it definitely needs some cleaning. So what I think I'm going to need to do for that is unscrew it and desolder it. So I can work on it, because I've tried to poke a screwdriver in there. Nothing I've got will work. So let's get the soldering iron started. Okay, here we go then. Let's get these little screws out of here. There's quite a lot of solder. These are big connections on here. I think this unit uses 24 volts. That's sort of 2 amps. Something similar to that. Oh! There we go, look, that little cover's come off. The little cover came off, which is obviously just a support bracket for that. So we're going to need our desolder. See if our iron's hot enough. We're going to lift those 3 legs and see what happens. Oh my god, that solder's dirty, but it looks like no melts. Might take me a while to lift all these off. But we don't want to apply too much heat for too long, because otherwise... Oh my god, this is like... Oh, it's weird. What I've also done, the device had a battery, a little watch battery, obviously, so it must have some sort of memory storage in it. And though the old battery was actually had an OK voltage... Oh, there's a nice lump of crap. I thought, why not? It's like it's its birthday. It can have a little... So yeah, just to reiterate, this was reported to me that the thing was making some funny sounds, but I can't even get it to start up because this connector's all messed up. Right. Oof. I don't know, that's hot. This is some horrible solder on here. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I don't know what it is. I guess these things, they're pretty old now. They're not like the oldest Roland devices. I've got some other older Roland devices. What I'm doing here is just pushing the legs out slightly as I heat it. Again, do not watch me for perfect Like I say in my other videos, for perfect practices, I don't have the equipment to do things perfectly. I just do what I can and get on with it. I have a feeling this is leaded solder, which is horrible. But again, Roland, like I've said in my other videos, like the Panasonic Roland, very good circuit boards inside. Really well identified what I'm working on. Ow, I think I burnt my finger again. Need to stop doing that. Okay. We are going to apply pressure on the legs and just push it out, because my little soldering iron, I could actually get my heat gun out for this, but or my hot air gun. That looks a little bit better. What I hope I'm not doing is melting the connector. Not that it's a major issue. Again, another piece of junk, this Roland keyboard. Actually, they are fairly clean, apart from me making a cross connection there, which we will clean up now. Don't think there's supposed to be a connection there, because that side leg is just... Oh my god, this solder is acting very strangely. I don't know if it's the age of it, it's just like the way it's running is strange. I don't know. Anyway, we can clear that up in a minute. What we need to do is get the springiness back in this. So the springiness is connected to this little leg here. This is going to be really difficult to show you, but there is some metal in there and we need to make it springy. Right, first off, let's see if we can just poke the screwdriver in the back here. No, that is pretty, so I don't know. Ah, yeah, look, there we are. It started to bulge up. Let's get the plug off the adapter. So, it's not really grabbing it. Not really grabbing it. So we're going to have to give it a bit more force, I think. This is where we end up bloody breaking it, I guess. Probably can't see it on camera, but it is standing proud now. But I think where it's been doing that for a long time, it's made that extremely dirty. So electrical contact cleaner to the rescue, I think. This is where I could do with a little toothbrush. Now, hopefully, we can just scrape that away in there. It's just crap. You'd be surprised how many toys and pieces of electronics that this is a fault of. The power jack going faulty and either be repaired or replaced, or quite often, like the internal parts of batteries that sort of get green goo, oxidization built up. It happens to connectors as well, but normally when there's arcing going on, where there's a loose connection, yeah. So I do have a special brush for cleaning this, but I've got a strong feeling it will not fit in there. Let's grab that a second. So this little magic pen is got a fiberglass, a multi-core fiberglass end. And you should, I normally use it for like cleaning pads like that, or cleaning tops of contact points. It's fairly light. I gotta be honest, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit it in this hole to clean that flat piece of metal up. It's definitely cleaning. Let's get some more spikes out of it. So you pick these, I've talked about these pens before, you pick them up for like £3 off eBay, RS, all those sort of places. They are generally quite good. There is a copper version. Just got to be careful because this is fiberglass. The fibers can stick in your hand sometimes. I recommend wearing gloves. This is probably not the proper way to use them, but this is what I'm doing. And this is all I've got. Oh, I don't know why that's doing that. There we are. Does that look a bit brighter now? I don't know. I've had to put a bit of brown tape over my camera light just to soften it. I didn't like it. It was a bit too harsh. And I know it's terribly shadowy, these videos. But until I get like 1 million views, I can't afford to buy anything else. So you have to put up with it if you enjoy watching the videos. What else have you been watching on YouTube recently? I've been watching a guy who does a games collection. I think his username is TVM. I'm not interested necessarily in collecting games, but he does go to car boot sales in my local area around Bristol, though I think he lives over in Chepstow. So that's quite interesting. And then there's this girl called Amy. She goes around in a caravan, mainly. I'm not really caught up on that. She goes around in a converted van, I should say, she's got her own van, and her mum and dad have their van. And she's quite good. It's just quite entertaining. She reminds me of my daughter. I think she's just certainly got the same sort of ideas about life, I guess, even though my daughter's got a lot younger. Yeah, I enjoy her adventures with her and her dog. Last episode I watched, a dog pooed all over her while she was driving, which was pretty funny. I'm sure it wasn't for her at the time. Right, so we're going to put this down on the desk. We've tried to give it a bit of a clean. I don't want to put too much force on it, but I am having to put quite a lot on. And then that is more or less because I'm pushing the back of the pin, and I need to push the middle out, really. But this is a sealed little box, so I ain't getting in there. Not without some serious stuff going on. See, I'm not... Now, again, this is an eBay replacement jack. I would say that's just not big enough. I don't think they've sent me something big enough. Let me try something else. It's still quite contaminated in there still, and still not as springy outy as I would like it. I'd really like that to sort of make a little click or pop noise when it goes in. Let me have a hunt around my workshop, see if we can find another solution for this. Right, okay. I think I may have found another solution to work. Now, I've got some slightly different power connectors. This is the one that the eBay seller sent me. This is one that I've been using for a little project. This is a generic plug. Now, is it a plug or a socket? No, it's a plug. Of course, it is female. So, a male even. So that fits much better, actually grips onto the metal. But I still don't feel that it's got a good enough grip on it. So we could, in theory, I've also got the matching female sockets to go with these plugs, and that fits lovely. I know I can't quite demonstrate that, but if we... Oh! Just fits in there perfectly like that. Nice and tight. That's how we like it. Well, you make up your own jokes there. Right, we could change that. Obviously, that's completely different, so I would have to rework the board or put the power connector in a different place. Or we could just make something temporary and make it work. Just soldering a few wires onto there and then bring it out to this jack. Let me just have a look on the back of the unit itself to see what we can do. Yeah, there is plenty of space to drill out the back of the rest of the panel to put a different jack in, sort of somewhere else along there. Which is an option, because basically what they've done on the panel, it's on the casing for the actual keyboard, it's square. And obviously we're doing all this not knowing if actually there's any other issues with it, but this certainly is an issue. So I'm in two minds. I could solder some wires on there and hook it back up, see if we get something like I'm expecting, or hang on, my watch is beeping me. I haven't done any steps today. Right, I'm going to switch off the camera, make a cup of tea, and have a think about what I'm going to do. Right, got myself a lovely cup of tea. I still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do about this. See, funnily enough, that connector will fit in that way. But then I have no idea if the pins are the right order. What we need to do is clear up that pad first. I think that probably is one pad. Obviously, I will fast forward through this bit now, just while I clean this up and make sure I'm doing something fairly sensible. I cannot tell if that was supposed to be connected to that. I mean, it sort of makes sense that it probably would have, because one's just going to be... That's for the bass. Let's see if they're connected on here, shall we? Turn my little multimeter to beep, 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 beep. Which is the technical term for that mode. So they're not connected that way. But surely that is just a holding pin. Right. Oh, hang on. Maybe that one, won't it? If I dickhead. Okay, that's connected to it. That one isn't. I know that was slightly out of shot, but just proving a point that it was connected. Just having a little look at these moulded things. I'm sure. So that'll be the back pin. Yeah, I've had a little look round. I can't find anything that's going to fit in there. So, if that's... Try and work out the difference between these. That will actually fit. That's clearly the ground, which makes sense. Yeah, because it's centre ground on these. Let me just check that on the back of the thing, but I'm pretty sure it is silly and it's centre ground. Yeah, centre ground. Centre ground. It's only 12 volt, not 24. 2 amp. So, that back pin is going to be the ground, because that's centre, and that pin there is going to be the positive. Yes. Can we get a load of fiberglass in there? Can I just get something else to poke that out a bit more? I just cannot get in on that plate really successfully. Not using that. I've got a little pin here somewhere. Oh, there we are. Look, this bent little phone pin gets up in there. Let's see if we can make it, push it out, get that piece of metal bend in. It doesn't even matter if it touches the centre pin, really. Told you, Bodget and Scarpa. That's my repair. That should be my repair name. Still a bit loose. I don't like it. I don't like it. Still a bit loose when you plug these jacks in, whichever one you go for. So my theory was I could put this one in there, but obviously it's not right angled. It sticks straight up, and I'd have to look at the pin arrangement to see if it's the same. The other option is just to solder some tabs onto this little piece here and just make a temporary connection, because we're not sure of the rest of the faults on this keyboard. It might be worth doing that as a temporary measure and trying to find a new one of these or something to adapt that to. Yeah, let's pause again, and because this video is already running longer than I wanted it to. I say that about all my videos. Okay, after a bit more poking and prodding, I've realised I've bent this back pin out of the way, and then I can wedge my screwdriver in on this connector. Again, this is not the ideal way to do it, but that is going to work, because now when I put my plug in, it grips it nicely. Still not quite as firm as I'd like it, but I would be generally happy for testing that it's going to be okay. So we're going to spray a little bit more contact cleaner in there and give it another once over. And kids, wear gloves if you're using contact cleaner. It's not like aggressive, but if you keep using it, it is going to mess up your hands. So again, in with the fiberglass brush, just trying to clean all that, and then I'm going to give it a poke again and refit it. The main bit we're trying to, if you imagine the piece of metal that's in there is kinked like that, it's not straight, it's kinked. So when the connector comes in, it goes and pushes down on it. So you want it quite springy, and you need it clean on that knuckle point, on that point where it's bending, because that's going to make the successful, the main part of the electrical connection. And when you're talking with music equipment, the electrical connections do make a difference. If it's a poor connection, you're going to just end up with electrical noise that you don't need. Okay, am I happy with that now? Yeah, I am pretty much happy with that. Just going to make sure I haven't shorted anything out on the back of here. Don't think I have. Hopefully this won't snap when I bend that back in place. Let's get back to the multimeter beeper. Make sure we haven't shorted anything out. No. Okay, let's get it soldered back on the board and see how we go. Pretty sure it's one pad. Oh, I put it on a bit wonky. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, it might have to come off again anyway. So this little shroud, which gives it a bit of rigidity. Tiny little screws to go back in there. I'm terrible at trying to keep things in there. It's a learning process, and I'm trying to keep things in focus on camera. Let's hop back over to the keyboard and plug it in. Okay, got the board back in there, just a couple of screws to hold it in place for now. That's our power connector. I'm just going to quickly test the replacement power unit, like the power supply unit I've been sent from eBay, just to make sure we've got the polarities round the right way. Okay, hopefully we've got 12 volts or something close to it. We can get a good connection. 12 volts, negative centre. That is what we want. That's what this machine says. How do I flip this round without... That's what it says we want. DC, 12 volts, negative centre. Right, let's plug it in. Let's find out. Okay. We have... I forgot this thing's got built-in speakers. So we've got lights. Can I play anything? So the Groove keyboard is, as far as I'm aware, it's like parts sampler, parts synth, with some percussion. With some percussion going on, so you can, as far as I'm aware, you can program this percussion. I have no idea. Right, 146 BPM. And there we are. I've lost the keyboard control now. What's gone on there? So it's got some other cool functions. It actually sounds okay. I'm going to have to play it on a few other settings. It's got this funky Roland put these D-beam controllers on a few of their devices over the years. You basically put your hand in and out, and it allows you to do some, looks a bit better on stage. Wave your hand, you can assign different effects to it. Yeah, and that's what that does. Let me have a quick play, and I'll come back and see if I can play you a song. Yeah, well, that's not me. That's the demo button. Everything seems good on this. I can't quite figure out how to change the what do I want to say? The straight up keyboard sound. I've got samplers and drum machines and different parts, but I'm assuming there is some basic keyboard sounds. Let's switch demo off. So we got bank number there. Control. See, it's definitely. No, that doesn't change it. Right, 2 more minutes. Now I can't do this two-handed, but. This thing's quite funky, really. That's a little example of what it does. It's got several different modes. Yes, it does make more than piano noises. You just got to set the tone bank here, and then hopefully we can change it. It's got an arranger mode, which I assume is for 2-player handling. Got beats in the background there. So if we can play some house. Some house chords for you there. Very badly played, I know. I'm no expert. I normally do it on my computer. But yeah, and even the D controller thing works. So if we set it to tempo down and set this going off. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone use that at live music, but yeah. It does stuff. That's the main thing, and there's no noise or anything going on in the background. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. Just a bad power connector, reported as noisy and faulty. Dirt and corrosion in the power connector causing the issue. Take this information, do with it as you wish. If you've got old musical equipment, tag me in the video and I'll have a look to see how you repaired it. That's it for this video. Thanks.